Tell me some other surprising lessons that you learned from podcasting and interviewing all these adventurers. Things that you kind of like, didn't think about that.
Yeah. So the fear was one thing. The other thing I really like is that people just kind of get ideas from like out of nowhere. His name's Captain Boogie. He ended up cycling from northern Scotland or Ireland, somewhere in the North UK, all the way to South Africa. It was a 13-month journey. And it kind of came from one of his friends that had passed away, and he realized, time was just passing away and that this was something he wanted to do. And so that kind of was the catalyst for him to take this 13-month cycling trip. And one thing I actually personally, I did all these podcast interviews and I was like kind of living through these people and their journeys, and so I decided this summer that, I've always wanted to do a cycling trip. So why wouldn't I do one? Why am I not the person doing this? And so this summer I also did a trip across Poland, about 1,200 kilometers, took me about 16 days. And it was fantastic. Like it was everything I heard in the podcast about how perception just changes. You become so present. You just wake up, drink coffee, and you're just cycling and you're meeting people. It's a different way of traveling that I've really, really come to enjoy this summer by doing a cycling trip, and I want to do more in the future. Because it just makes you feel more present. You're just kind of just seeing the sights. You're feeling everything. The weather is, you're in tune with the weather because if it's raining, everything's kind of disrupts. So that was kind of one thing as well as me personally, I took away is that, hey, I shouldn't just be listening to these stories. I should actually also be doing these things as well. Personally.
Were you there during the Ukraine war?
Yeah, actually, it was an interesting time. Now cycling was interesting because there's a lot of tension between, how's it say in English? Is it Belarus? Belarus? And Poland. So there's like this hybrid warfare going on, I guess, where there's a lot of migrants being sent from Belarus to Poland. And so that whole border now is filled with border control by by Poland. And they also have their own, they built a wall there as well. So I didn't know it, but you needed a passport within 50 kilometers of the border, just so they can make sure that you're not a migrant, that you're supposed to be in Poland. And I also roughed it, so I was like sleeping in the woods on a hammock. So I just took a hammock, and that's all I was sleeping on. And so it was a really interesting experience being out in the wild as well. I actually have a funny story. There was, I think, the sixth day it was raining outside and it was cold and I had just done 90 kilometers and I was like, maybe I'll just get an Airbnb for the night. And it's like 8:00, the sun has just set. And I'm in a small little town in Missourian Lakes is where this region is called in Poland, where there's a ton of lakes, kind of a little bit like Minnesota. It's really, really beautiful. And this lady comes out and for this pension, this Airbnb, and she's beautiful. She's got to be like in her late 20s, blonde hair, got this little white dog in her hand, and there's these gold, like glass windows behind her with candles. She's like, "Oh, you're in luck. Like I had 11 people that were supposed to reserve for today, but they just canceled. We have a hot shower. We have a huge queen size bed."
No. The better story would be like, "We're full, but there's space in my bed."
Yeah. Well, that's where I thought the story was going. I'm like, oh, no one's there, huh? It's just us. And so she's like, yeah, like, so we have a spot for you. And I was like, but the whole point of this trip was I really wanted to kind of just really live like a minimalist lifestyle, just in a hammock, find 2 trees and just do that. She's like, so you're going to go rough it or are you going to stay here? And I looked her in the eyes.
This is like Dumb and Dumber.
I know. And I said, I'm going to go rough it. And I went down by the river.
Okay, so you know the scene at the end of Dumb and Dumber. Do you remember that?
No, I don't. What was the scene?
Okay, there's these guys are just walking in the middle of nowhere, the 2 idiots, the 2 Dumb and Dumbers, right? And then this bus pulls up and these girls in bikinis come up and they're it's full of them. And they're like, "Hey, do you want to ride?" And they're like, "Oh, don't worry about us. We'll be fine."
Can't believe this, Lloyd. First Mary dumps us, then the cops take our nest egg, then our hog breaks down.
Yeah! When are we ever gonna catch a break?
Hi, y'all. då!
Hej allihopa!
Hey guys! We're going on a national bikini tour, and we're looking for 2 oil boys who can grease us up before each competition.
You are in luck. There's a town about 3 miles that way. I'm sure you'll find a couple guys there.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Hej då!
Do you realize what you've done? Hey! Lloyd! Lloyd! You'll have to excuse my friend. He's a little slow. The town is back that way.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, they're looking for like the swimsuit convention or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. So that's basically you.
That was me. Yeah, she's like, oh my gosh, I have a warm meal. I'm just all alone in this house. I have a jacuzzi. I'm like, no, I'm gonna go sleep by the river where it's raining. And in the morning, I woke up and some homeless man was asking me for money. And I look at him and I'm like, dude, we're in the same boat, bro. Like I'm sleeping outside here as well. I just turned down this beautiful
Blonde bombshell.
Airbnb.
Yeah.